Proclamation with us. Everybody do it. Let's go. We're gonna turn the world upside down. We're gonna turn these people right side up. We're gonna shout until we're 6 feet over. We're gonna demonstrate something unusual. Come on. Something unusual.
Vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to CodeBreakers Live. I hope you've had a wonderful week. We've had an interesting week. A lot of things have happened. Let's open that chat up and see how everybody's doing. I see you guys over there on Rumble. Yes, it is Palm Sunday. And, oh my goodness, we've got everybody over here. Carl Schwab is a Rothschild. Okay. Who's Carl Schwab? It's not Klaus. Do you mean Klaus? Or do you mean Carl? I know Klaus. I don't know Carl. Okay. Hello, everybody. Florida, Missouri, Colorado. I'm just looking at Rumble right now. That's why my head's turned this way. Maryland, Bel Air, Maryland. Oh, Bel Air. Sounds nice. Colorado. Let's see what's happening here on YouTube. Oh, there's lots here. Hi, everybody. Welcome on this beautiful Palm Sunday to CodeBreakers Live. I hope you all enjoyed church today. I see someone's from Michigan. Oh, a lot of Michigan today. Welcome, Michigan people. I love Michigan people. You guys are dealing with all kinds of stuff over there in Michigan, aren't you? Scotland. Hello, Katie. Welcome back. More Colorado. A little bit tired. Wow, there's a lot of Michigan people. Hello, Michigan. Welcome to CodeBreakers today. My dad prophesied 9/11 from Michigan. He worked for years there. He prophesied 9/11 at an event called The Gathering of the Dangerous, GOD. And I still have that sign. I found it the other day, you guys. The big yellow with the black Gathering of the Dangerous. Found it. I'm going to be putting it up as part of my set for this broadcast. We're going to be making some changes in the next couple of months, and so it's going to start to look different behind me. I'm getting Switzerland. My goodness. My sister and I and Lou are putting together we've got some ideas for CodeBreakers Live. So it's not just a brick wall behind me. And some books there that I don't even know what those books are. We need to put things. There's my dad's. Well, if you look there, you can see Dad's album, Freedom for the Soul. If you don't have that album, you can get it on iTunes or wherever you buy music. Just search for Kim Clement Freedom for the Soul, and that was his last album. Missouri, hello. And now what's happening at the House of Destiny chat? Let's say hi to you guys. Oh, hello, Maria. You're back. So welcome, Maria. So if you don't know, you can watch this live right now at the House of Destiny Network. So you can go to houseofdestiny.org, and we are live on our own network, and we have the chat open over there too. And codebreakers.news. And let me just see if I can put, do we have that as a link? Oh, okay, well, we'll have that eventually. So I see, oh my goodness, happy Palm Sunday. So before we start anything, how about I do this? Let's read it. We're going to read John 12, verse 12, the triumphal entry. The next day, a great multitude that had come to the feast, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him and cried out, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel. Then Jesus, when he had found a young donkey, sat on it, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's colt. His disciples did not understand these things at first, but when Jesus was glorified, then they remembered that these things were written about him, and that they had done these things to him. That's a fulfillment of prophecy. Isn't that beautiful? So I just wanted to start with that today. Okay, there we go. And let's not forget that I have a little bit of housekeeping to do before we begin. I'm going to put our ticker on there if you feel led to support Codebreakers Live, the House of Destiny Network, and the legacy of my father, Kim Clement. There is right below you, anytime. You can text to give. You can do super chats. You can go on our website. There's many ways. And I do encourage you to do that so we can keep doing this and bringing you these prophecies. And I have to tell you something very exciting before we start, really get into things today. We are working on what you would call subscription, but we traditionally call the partner program. And I'm really not allowed to say too much yet because we're working on it. But we are doing some stuff on our website to create a brand new partner program at the House of Destiny Network. And this is something that, we've had for years, but it was all the way my dad had it set up for things he was doing then. So we've kind of rehashed that, and we are really focusing on the prophecy database. So for those of you who have been using the prophecy database, you can go to thehouseofdestiny.org or on our app, and you can, under the About Us section, and that's the About Us section on the website, and Info section on the app, you will find the prophecy database. And in that database, you can put any keyword into the search engine, and it will pull up every transcription of every prophecy we have where he might have said that word. And that's very helpful as we are going through this insane time to be able to go back and look and see, did God show Kim something about this, that, or the next thing? And so, yes, that's going on. I'm just going to make sure I don't forget anything. I'm just getting through stuff today because I have a very special guest today. My dear friend, Polny, is going to be joining us shortly. And when he gets on, I'm just going to let him go because he's got stuff to share. And he was like calling me saying, I've got to tell you. I said, come on the show. Let's do it. So Bo will be here today. I see someone's there from Belgium. Hello there from Belgium. Another Michigan. Oh, my goodness. And, love you too, Jamsey. Thanks. Kentucky. Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas. Now, this reminds me. I better pull up my Twitter while we have time, because once Bo gets here, I'll be done with that. So I'm going to share with you my Twitter page. We didn't do that this last week, so I'm going to do it now. Because I say Twitter, I'm not supposed to be saying this. It's not called Twitter anymore. It is now X. So let's make sure you can see that. There we go. There's another orangutan. You guys are following me on on X, previously known as Twitter, you know how much I love orangutans. So the first thing you're seeing today is that, actually I didn't plan that, but look how cute this orangutan. Wanted to see that baby. My favorite ape. They're just so cute. But I'm starting here on my page today because one thing we did not discuss last week were the cannibals in Haiti. And I did see the video that came out right away where there's a man, I don't know if it's in Haiti or not. I don't know how legitimate that video was, but there was a man eating meat from a human being's leg on a video. And then they came out with the Haitian cannibal gangs. And, I really just, at this stage, what do we say to that? I mean, literally the devouring of humans, if that's true, and we know this goes on in the world, if that is the truth and if that's what's happening, that's definitely not good overall, if human beings are now devouring one another. Of course, here's I don't know if you guys did you see last week current events? Yesterday's current events also really good with Mom and Christy. We talked about the red heifer in Israel that came from Texas, spotless red heifer. It will be the 10th sacrificed, which also is indicative of the return of Christ or the coming of the Messiah, according to the Jews. And if you have not watched that, I encourage you, after we're done here today, or when you have time, to go to the House of Destiny Network, or just look on our Rumble channel as well. If you're, I don't know if we're putting all of those full broadcasts on YouTube or not, because sometimes it can get a bit. It is up there. Oh, we did. Okay, so if you go to the Kim Clement YouTube channel, Rumble channel, and I encourage you to go to the House of Destiny Network, either the app or the website, watch current events from yesterday. Very interesting stuff that my mom had to share. And if you're interested in the red heifer, I wouldn't be the person to talk. I had more questions than anything during the broadcast. I was like, so they keep the ashes and then they mix it with the holy water. I don't know any of that. So this is all new for me, some of it. And you might want to check that out. So go and check that out. That was up yesterday. And last Saturday, of course, Clay Clark and I hijacked current events, and he shared with us the top 25 things we needed to know. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch that as well. Those are all available to you. Let's keep going here. Just Twitter. But there are some things. Yes, it's more on these Haitian cannibals. Now, that's demonic. That's very demonic. And if you start thinking about regions of the world, and you go all the way back to the Watchers and that whole thing, then you start to see the influence that, going all the way back to the very, very beginning, that has been over regions. And regional is very important. My dad used to travel a lot. He did boots on the ground. And the reason he did boots on the ground was because he felt that it wasn't enough for him to be, in one place prophesying. Sometimes God needed him to go to the region to break the spirit governing that region. And so if you look at the history of the Haitian people, and you look at what the Clintons have done over there, spiritually, there's some dark things, and we really need to be praying for the people of Haiti, the good people. There are good people in Haiti, beautiful people. They are suffering, and the people taking over right now are the wrong people. And of course, there's been interference, because we know, this is one thing we do know. We know that the Haitian president was assassinated. I'm going to pull up the comments. I'm moving things around here so I can see your comments. Remember, the Haitian president was assassinated during COVID. It was 2021. And they broke into his house and murdered him in his bed. That is worthy of note here, because there is, again, just like what happened in Ukraine, 2014 at Maidan, you have uprisings, things happening, and then a replacement of leadership. In the case in Haiti, I find it strange that the president was assassinated, and since then things have just gotten really, really bad over there. So we do pray. Look, I don't know all the facts about this. This is just the limited amount that I know, but I was very, very disturbed to find out that some Haitians are eating other Haitians, and I hope that isn't true. But as you can see, all over the world, there are quite disastrous. Look at this baby hippo. Let's take a break. Isn't he cute? Did you have something you wanted to say, Jacqueline?
Oh, someone just
Jacqueline's here.
commented that video that I don't know if it was your video, but one of the videos going out there was just shot in California. It wasn't
real.
legit, yeah.
Okay, and I did suspect that because the video was taken down. I mean, I was shocked when I posted that.
Well,
I posted it. I said, "God forgive us. We don't know what we're doing.
I mean,
These people are eating each other." But
there's a lot
good.
out there.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thanks for letting me know that wasn't real, because
something's factual.
my gosh, if people are eating each other, then we're really openly eating each other that way. Okay, so that was not real. So that's good. Good to know. Look at the baby bear. I'm just looking also for information on our event in Arkansas. I'm going to be with Jean Ho. You guys were here last week when Jean was here. And if you haven't watched that one, I encourage you to go back and watch last week's, because I did ask him about Q and I asked him about JFK Jr. And as many of you saw, it was quite a surprising moment when I just decided to share that vision I had, and just didn't even occur to me about the mist. And so when Jean, see, this is why we have to code break, because I'm not always going to see or understand everything. I'm not supernatural. I'm just one girl. I have a perspective that's good, and so it gives me a little bit of that's why you want to talk to me. But sometimes we need other people. Like today, we're going to have Bo come in, and let's see what Bo is seeing. What is God showing Bo today? But last week, that was very interesting, wasn't it, everybody? Let me go back to the comments. What did you guys think? Okay, we're a little bit delayed here. Let's see what's going on Rumble. Tallahassee, Florida, hello. The Japanese president was also assassinated. That's right. Anybody who didn't want to go along with the globalist agenda on COVID and the vaccines, you saw some leaders, African leaders too. There were a number of, I've forgotten them all now, but there were a number of African leaders who were just like, we're going to do the natural thing because that's what they do over there.
Yes.
And they ended up dead.
Well, because Africa is their test ground.
It always has been. So is Haiti. Yes. So that's why I'm really worried about the Haitian people. We do love them. Okay, so George Magazine. This is what I've been wanting to show you. Okay. Yeah, you see, these are good questions. Someone's saying, why would JFK Jr.'s wife and sister-in-law stay hidden for 25 years? That's my problem, okay? So maybe it doesn't mean he's alive, but there's something, I don't know what to think of it, but there is something about this, because Dad also prophesied about the Irishman in the White House. And he actually named the year 2016 as when this series of events would start to happen. I have to find that prophecy.
Wouldn't it be bizarre if at the end of the day, after all this, we end up with another JFK?
I know. Well, I don't know. It's just I don't think it's as easy as that.
I know. That was a funny thought that occurred to me in that moment.
The JFK Jr. picture. Yes, and look, there's a reason. Look, this is the reason that I asked him. I think this video is coming up here. If you guys didn't see this, you see it on the screen now, Prophetic Rewind. Go and watch Prophetic Rewind from the past few weeks. I played this first one from June 13th, 2012. My dad had this vision, and you're seeing him have the vision. He'd had it. It had started to happen to him when he was praying beforehand. He comes into the broadcast. He's in worship, and this vision continues, and we actually see him having it. And then the following week, he talks about it, and then the following week, some more. So that's what we've had on Prophetic Rewind. The last part of that will be up today. And that's where he talks about Q&A. Or have we already aired that? We haven't. Okay, so the one where he actually prophesies Q&A, we've seen it here at CodeBreakers in bits. I'm just releasing on Prophetic Rewind, which is up every Monday at the House of Destiny Network at kim.tv. But if you see in context, so that I can play you clips of things and we can look at that. But then I like to put it up on Prophetic Rewind so you can see the whole thing so you can understand, okay, he was worshiping. These are the songs he was singing. Look at what happened there. You might see something I don't see. And so that's why the other thing that's very important for you to do is to email me. And I'm going to put the email address up. Email me at codebreakers@houseofdestiny.org. Do you see that email address right there? I won't keep it up because it's going to block the Twitter screen, but that is my email address. If God shows you something, it's okay if you disagree with me. I know I don't know everything. I'm quite fine with being wrong. You know how much I've learned in my life from being wrong? People really need to get over pride sometimes and understand that being wrong, you're gonna learn. So please do connect with me. Let me know what is God showing you, because we're in this together. CodeBreakers is not mine, it is ours. I'm just hosting. So there we go. And we're going to go back over to Twitter now. It is not Twitter, it is X. Of course, we've got... Here's more on Haiti. Haiti keeps coming up. I didn't expect that, but here we go. This is
Florida. And I want to tell you that...
This is during the presidential
debate. You take a look at the people of...
In 2000, what was it, 16, 15.
And you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons, because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows
Secretary
it.
Clinton.
Well, very quickly, we...
And you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti.
Just adding a little bit more to that. I've been praying for Laura Loomer. She came down with some kind of an illness. But look at this white moose. My goodness. You know, I recently showed you a white peacock. You're about to see a white bear as well. I didn't plan this either. These are just things popping up on my feed. But a white moose. Now, you know a moose. Is this a moose? Am I sure? Yeah, it is a moose. Moose are huge. I went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming years ago. It was the late 2000s. We went on a family vacation. And I saw a moose in the wild, and I was shocked at the size of the thing. These things are enormous.
They're massive.
Huge. And they're more aggressive than the grizzly bears. Like, they tell you in Jackson Hole. Anybody from Jackson Hole? Anybody from around there? I'm looking in the chats. Check the chats. Anybody from Jackson Hole that can verify what I'm saying here. But when we went, they said to us that you need to be more wary of the moose than the grizzly bears. Now, both of these animals are very, very territorial, so you could be in their territory and not even know, and they'll attack you just for being there. So there's that. But apparently moose attacks are a thing. And now this moose is in Sweden. I don't know if Swedish moose are bigger or smaller, I don't know, but it's white, and that's pretty. There they are. Please, will everybody stop writing to me to warn me about General Flynn? You need to understand that I am a personal friend of General Flynn, and anything I need to know about him, listen, I'm hearing it all the time. There's a lot of lies going on about him. And please stop writing to me trying to tell me about this person when I actually know him. And he is not secretly trying anything behind Trump's back. He is not responsible for January 6th. You people need to stop believing the lies that are going. It's done on purpose. And some of the people that get out there, some of these people like this Ariel guy, get out there and spew a bunch of nonsense. Go fact check their other stuff. Okay, and stop believing it. It makes me very upset because it's frustrating, because it's like people saying, you need to watch out. It's like, I know Roger Stone and I know General Flynn personally. I could pick up the phone and call either one of them right now, and they will answer me and have a conversation with me. I don't need strangers telling me what to think of people I know. Thank you if you are concerned, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just letting you know that there are lies going on about my friends. Those are my friends. I know these people. They're actually my friends. I don't just kind of know them. I've worked with them for years. All they want is Donald Trump back in office. Neither of them have any aspiration for anything, not even a position in the administration. They just want America to be saved, and they know that Donald Trump right now is the only way. And if you look around you, try to find somebody else who's going to help us out. Okay? So, and also you should know, all of you that keep trying to tell me how terrible Roger Stone and General Flynn are, you should also know they spend a considerable amount of time with Donald Trump himself regularly. Regularly, they are with him at Mar-a-Lago. He invites them, and they spend time with him as his friends. So these people who know nothing about anything, that spread lies to divide us more. The goal there is to do what? To just divide us. There's nothing good that's going to come out of any of that. So please remember that, because it's really unfair. It upsets me a lot because I can't get into long arguments on social media and try to type in answers on posts. I just ignore most of it. But man, it's whatever satanic prayer, if he said a prayer, he didn't know. Okay. General Flynn was raised Catholic. He was not in the church until recently. And there's a lot of things General Flynn is learning as he spent a lot more time around people like Amanda Grace, myself, many great pastors and people who are aligned with us, who have helped him understand. I don't want to hear any more about the prayer. Okay. And you know what? General Flynn's going to come on here and he's going to talk to us himself, and we can ask him. You can ask General Flynn anything you want, and he will tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And it's okay to be cautious about people. I'm not saying just to blindly trust, but I'm saying for me, myself, I know him. And whenever I hear these things, I actually, sometimes I will pick up the phone and call him. And his son as well, who is my age and also a friend. So you're not talking to someone who kind of is reading things and believing them. I know the people. There's a difference. And I am using my discernment. And we don't want any more division, you guys. We don't really want this. We want to, especially this year. This is the year. Man, if there was ever a year to vote, if there was ever a time to make the right decision, that time is now. So don't get pulled into that. And ask God. You must ask God to show you. And he will. You guys, please don't miss Charlie Jordan. Every Thursday, he's on our network and at the House of Destiny network. And he has started every Thursday to share with us. It's called Prophetic Perspectives. And let me tell you something. You want to get Charlie Jordan's perspective on the prophetic. He spent almost 2 decades with my dad. And every time you see my dad prophesying, Charlie Jordan was behind him, not just playing a bass, but prophesying with him, worshiping with him, holding him up sometimes when he was prophesying. This man is anointed. He is such a blessing. I consider him my family, like not even like just good friends. I've known Charlie and Sharon and their family since I was a little girl. I don't know a time I didn't know them. And they are my family, and I trust them, and you guys will be blessed if you watch Charlie Jordan. So don't miss that. And I'm just scrolling quickly through because there was just a couple of things. There wasn't too much here I wanted to show you. I don't know if you guys saw the shooting on the train in New York. We just pray for New York. You guys in New York, we are praying for you. This was quite funny. The CNN reporter goes to try to speaking of the more cannibal. Here, watch it. It's just quick.
Just thank you. Okay. Thank you. Why are people on that side of the river so afraid of the Agori? I see. Why
Oh my goodness.
feel like this may have been a mistake?
Definitely a mistake. How funny is that? So that seems to be the theme. I feel not good about it, you guys. I don't like this consuming of flesh. It's demonic. It's demonic. Someone says he tried to have his camera staff stay behind to divert. Listen, I would never have been in that situation in the first place. That's what I said in my comments. So, all right, don't miss Jimmy Levy, you guys. Find Jimmy. He's releasing new music. He's not on X anymore, but he is releasing new music you don't want to miss. You also want to stay tuned to Glenn Beck, man. He's looking at those red heifers too. And Glenn knows the Bible. He knows what time we're in, and it's been very, very interesting. I do see Bo is backstage. So why don't we bring Bo in? I think I'm done over here for the day. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, this. Let me just show you this quickly. So, well, you know what? I'm not going to show you. If you are on X, you can go on my page and go watch it. This is the reason I asked Gene about JFK Jr. because of the story of him supposedly taking a picture of JFK Jr. on the top of Mount Rushmore with Don Jr. in a helicopter. You can watch that video on my X page, Pretty Butterfly. And just have a look there. I'm posting all the time. Oh, one more thing. This I wanted to show you because it's so hilarious. This was so hilarious. Have a look at the state of our world. This is what's happening. Now, British people are so polite and proper. Have a look at this.
You're watching Sky News now. You may recall these images from the Labour Party conference in Brighton on Tuesday.
Sorry, I mean, I think it's
There you can see a protester being slightly wrestled by the blogger Ian Dale. Well, he's the publisher of course, Damien McBride, the former Spin Doctor's book. He has received a police caution after admitting common assault over this scuffle with the protester during, as you can see,
just one
live television interview in Brighton.
Something to make you laugh, and then of course it's a cute little owl there. Couldn't miss that. So go and watch my dad on Prophetic Rewind. You guys need to see the visions. Also, the other thing, Trey Smith's new video, The Last Prophecy. He goes through my dad's prophecies and weaves them together so beautifully. Please go and watch this. God in a Nutshell is his website. Let me quickly do something here. I think I have it. This is the website. There at the bottom of the screen, godinanutshell.com. Go there or to his YouTube channel, which I think has the same name, and you can watch the video. And I mean, he went through my dad's prophecies. He did a really good job. It's called The Last Prophecy, and it's got a big picture of Trump. There's Roger Stone's grandson. Isn't that cute? Great grandson. Super cute. Okay, so I think we are ready for Bo Polny. Now, listen, we've known Bo for a couple years now, and we met him at the Reawaken America tour, and of course, we got along so well. So I am going to bring him on. Everybody, welcome my dear friend, Bo Polny. There he is. Let's change the screen a little bit here. Let's do this. Let's do this. There we go. Welcome, Bo. How are you today?
Great. Thank you, Donnie.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to see you again. Thank you.
Yes, and my husband told me to tell you, looking good, Bo.
Oh, jeez. I love your husband. He is a crack up, and I really enjoy hanging out with the two of you when we get together.
Listen, you guys, everybody watching, we hang out with Bo at the he's one of the people we actually hang out with at Reawaken. It's Gene and Bo and Amanda Grace, and all of us hang out together. We have a good time. But you know what I've come to find? Bo Polny is definitely anointed. He's got a special kind of brain and a way of looking at this and code breaking. That is, God has anointed him for this, without a doubt. And so I'm super excited to hear what you have to share with us today, Bo. What is going on? Now, are we looking at our season's prophecy? Because I actually pulled it up.
Actually, this is so exciting because I literally, I've been working on a book and I'm just doing final edits on it. And I've been putting together pieces in this past weekend, and it's incredible what the Lord revealed to me just yesterday in reference to your father and the revelation of his prophecy and prophecies prior to the season's prophecy.
Oh, good. Okay, let's go.
So you're going to go. You're going to love this, because I was laughing so hard yesterday, because when the Lord reveals things to me, it's comical. And the reason I say it's comical because it's so perfect.
Yes.
It's so perfect. And when you hear the understanding, because that's where you're going to get the understanding of your father's prophecy, and you are going to go, oh my gosh. It's so exciting because these prophecies have to happen before the seasons prophecy.
Okay, let's look.
So, and this ties in with Clay as well too. It's all of these pieces that God's put together, because what is revelation? Right, Donna?
Right.
It's a reveal. So
Yes.
God's revealing his secrets to his servants.
Prophet.
And that's all that we're seeing, secrets being revealed, because if all of it was explained at the very beginning, evil would know what God's plan is. And so God's revealing things at certain specific time points. So it's really fun to watch all of this come together. So I prepared a series of a few videos of your father, and then we can discuss them in relation to my slides and timing and whatever else wherever the Holy Spirit takes us on this presentation. So it's pretty exciting. So let me get the first one up here. We can get this going here. So let's start with this one.
Can I make it?
Share. An open screen here. If you can put it up on your screen.
Okie dokie. There we go.
Okay, so here we go. Let's listen to this one. Let's start here.
Okay.
This was sacred to God. This is exactly why I need some action from my people.
There is a man by the name of Mr. Clark, and there is also another man by the name of Donald. You are both watching me saying, could it be that God's speaking to me? Yes, he is. The Spirit of God says, hear the word of the prophet to you as a king. I will open that door that you prayed about. And when it comes time for the election, you will be elected. Whoa.
Okay, wow. So that's the first one. And why is that important? Well, what the Lord revealed to me just yesterday was to go study two special things. And that's specifically both of these individuals, but specifically their birth dates.
Okay.
So let's look at that here. So there we go. So we've got Donald Trump, born on June 14th, 1946, and Clay Clark, born on November 5, 1980. So, and the reason being that's important because specifically when your father spoke of this, he spoke of them together in the same prophecy.
Yes, he did.
Right? So that's important to put together because there's relationship between both of these people with regards to timing of events that are about to happen on this world. Okay, so that's the first piece that I wanted to show you and your viewers. We need to know these, both of them. You and I know that, well, I've never met Donald Trump personally, but we've met Clay numerous times, but both dates are critically, and Eric and Donald Jr., we've met them. But the point is the dates are critical with regards to their timing. And so we want to start with that. And the second thing we want to understand is the timing of things. And your father had a prophetic word with regards to time. And what they did was they changed the clocks. Okay, so not say they, but evil operates in darkness in the shadows, and what he will do is he'll change the clocks. Why does evil change clocks? So you miss appointments.
Yeah,
it's actually written in the scripture about that, where if they change the clocks, and the reason the scripture is so you would miss appointments, specifically, God's appointed times. If Satan didn't change the clocks, the Hebrew nation would not have missed Jesus's time on earth. Right, but they changed the clock so the Hebrew nation, unless you read, the interpretation of what you were looking for, the clocks were all changed. So then your father's got a prophetic word. So we know we want to study Clay, we want to study Donald Trump, and then second thing we want to understand the timing of clocks. So here is this one. We want to put this one up as well too. If you can put this up on your screen. Okay, and so let's listen to this prophecy right here because your father talks about two clocks, and I'm going to reveal that to you in just a second here. So here's the prophecy.
The Spirit of the Lord says there be two clocks, two watches. I am about to annihilate one of the clocks. It has been the agenda and the timing of men, and the agenda and the timing of the Lord God Most High. God said the one clock has indicated one season, but the other clock has been ignored, which has been mine. People have said that there is poverty around us, and there is sickness, and things don't seem to be getting better. The Spirit of the Lord said they've been looking at the wrong clock. They've been looking at the wrong timing. God said in Jerusalem in the time of Christ, He said, had you known that this was your day of visitation. The Spirit of God says, my dear men, visitation comes from the Greek word episkope, which simply means an inspection. There have been an inspection during this past decade, but that inspection was to see if you qualify for what I'm about to pour upon the house of the Lord. And God said, I say to you, yes, you have qualified. And God said, I've inspected you, and I've seen your hearts want something different. Your hearts want something new. And God said, because of that, I have annihilated the other clock. I have annihilated the other clocks in the Lord. And I have given to you what my timing dictates. I'm going to pour out upon you a prosperity like you've never had before, says the Lord. Come on.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you remember that prophecy, but how powerful is that? So now he's telling us, so your father is telling us that there are two clocks that the world is running on, and there's man's clock and God's clock. Man's clock is basically the clock that is a clock that created by Satan. So these are it's a Roman calendar, Roman clock. And that's the clock that we're using every day, the calendar. But that calendar is actually perverted or twisted. So we're confused. So let me show you this so your viewers can have a look here. But you'll start seeing how these pieces are starting to come together. So if we look at the actual clock, here's the calendar.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So now let's go with this here. Go with me here. Okay. If you study Roman language, okay, the word dies is a very simple number. Dies means 10.
It means 10, yes.
Okay. Oct means 8.
8.
Sept means 7.
Yes.
So what I'm showing you here is that there's no coincidence. It was just dies one time, but there's three beautiful examples of understanding numbers. So the reason September is called September because it's the 7th month. October is the 8th month. Dies is the 10th month.
That makes sense.
And January is the 11th month. February is the 12th month, which means what? New Year's is when?
March.
Yay. Let me explain to you another way of counting, okay? So we understand that there's 364.25 days. There's like 0.25 days every year, 0.25 extras. So what you have to do is you take 0.25 or a quarter, and you add 4 years together to create what's called a leap year. We all know that, okay? Yes. So let me ask you, Donna, where do they put the leap year? You would put it normally at the end of the year. So if that be the case, why wouldn't they put the extra day in December? But they don't.
They put it in February. Wow.
Look at my calendar that God showed. Not my calendar. This is what God showed me. Look at the calendar and now understand what I just said.
Yes.
That's called revelation.
Uh-huh.
So what we're seeing is there are two clocks. We've been looking at the wrong timing.
That is fascinating.
Oh, this gets better.
My goodness.
Dunny, this is just a warm-up.
Around, my mind gets blown. Here we go again.
And this is just a warm-up to what God revealed to me, okay? So what I want people to understand is we're all looking at the wrong timing. We're looking at the wrong clock because the clock is something very specific. It's relation to when does 2024 begin? 2024 is beginning now. And so if I pull up the month of March, okay, so this is March.
Yes.
Today is Purim, the 24th of March, but it's actually based on the Julian calendar, the 11th. It's the 11th.
It would be
of the 11th. Of the first month.
That makes it 3/11 today.
Yes.
Oh my
so
God.
No, it makes it the first month, the 11th day. So today is 1/11.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so today would be the first month of the year.
Yes, okay.
And the 11th day. which is per.
Very interesting.
There is another calendar called double dating calendar, which actually indicates that tomorrow could be a New Year's time point as well. We also have tomorrow as a blood moon.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm showing you is if God's going to intervene on the world, he will intervene. This would only make sense because we're looking for the birth of something new. He would birth something new in the spring, not in the dead of winter.
Right.
Very simple to understand.
Yeah.
Okay. These are God's seasons. He made seasons, and spring is a time of birth.
It is.
Okay. So we're stepping into a time of birth. God's not going to do in the dead of winter. Why? Because we are still in the year 2023. We're just stepping into right now, this year, 2024.
Oh.
We've just started 2024. And if you study scriptures, this is for the fun part. Now we're getting into some fun stuff, because if we run the Julian calendar, which is the calendar that was used, it was started 45 BC. This is the calendar that's 2,060 years old, used at the time Jesus was on the earth. What I'm saying is this was the calendar at the time of Jesus. And so if you use this calendar, this will be the new calendar, because when Babylon falls, we're going to lose the old calendar system and step into a new calendar. This is the calendar we're going to step into.
I see.
Okay?
Yes.
And so if today being 11th, it's actually, if you study Exodus 12:2, it says this will be the first day. And that'll be 14th. So today will be 11 Nisan.
Oh my goodness.
On the Julian calendar.
Yes.
Which means that this Wednesday into Thursday is 15 Nisan, which ties in perfectly. This is the wild part. It ties in perfectly with the death of Jesus on the cross, and then resurrection 7 days from today.
Oh, wow.
Which just happens to be the actual resurrection day that the world is going by right now. So next weekend is Easter Sunday, even though Ishtar is a fallen angel. It doesn't matter. It's not about Easter. It's the point of resurrection. So resurrection, now everybody write this down. Resurrection is March 31st, 2024, because you're going to want to know why in a second, why I write this down. This is critical. And so March 31, 7 days from today, is resurrection. Why I'm saying that is because there's a very specific reason why I'm saying this, because your father had a prophecy. So this is the reveal that I got yesterday. I'm going to go through this in amazing detail, because this is truly by godly design how all of this is coming together. So we understand that, and also before we talk about that, remember Trump was born in 46. Okay, so that's an important calculation. So let's remember that date also of Trump's birth. Okay, so he was June 14th, 1946. Okay, so that's another thing we want to write down here. So now let's get into some calculations, because there's three things about the Bible that God revealed to me, Donne. The first being is this: always go back to the Word. If you're ever unsure of something, go back to the Word, because it is written.
Yes.
But if it wasn't for your father, as in a perfect example, if it wasn't for your father who was doing the Father's will, your father, God was speaking through your father. Why? Because your father, God was speaking through your father to give us, humanity, what? Interpretation and understanding of the written word. See, if your father didn't do what he did, if God didn't speak through him, we wouldn't be interviewing today.
Right.
And I wouldn't have, and you wouldn't have the understanding of what your father revealed to the world. Okay. So it's critical that's why God does nothing before first speaking through his servants, the prophets. Why? Yeah. So they can warn his church, and more importantly, just explain what's written.
Yes.
Because what is written, there's always that lost in translation thing too. You know, you can translate, and so the problem with a written word is the translation sometimes you can get a little bit misinterpretations of what God really was meaning or saying. But then when your father as a prophet will, as God speaks through your father, he gives the interpretation and the understanding. So the answer is very clear of what was written. if that makes sense.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
So you have to have the written word. The prophetic word overlaid on the written word gives clarity to the written word. And this is where I come in. Okay. What God also does, he speaks through numerics. He speaks through numbers. And you're going to see in a second why the numbers are so critical, because the numbers are the third layer to what your father did and to the written word. So when you take the numerics, you can overlay the numerics with the prophetic, with the written, and your mind begins to blow. You start to going, how is this happening? And yet we're seeing it happen right in front of us. So now let's go through some numerics here. Okay, so we have, this was the determining factor for why we are here today is because of Roe v. Wade. Okay, so let's look at the key dates here. December 13th, 1971, it's first argued in Supreme Court, but this is the critical date. Everybody write this down, January 22nd, 1973. January 22nd, 1973 was the reason we are in the mess we're in right now, because we decided we're a nation founded under God. We have a covenant, which is what your father said, immutable.
Yes.
So because of the covenant we've made with God, the founding fathers did, the covenant's immutable. However, we as a nation turned away from God by killing the creator's creation. So that God said, okay, fine, you want to do it without me? So he took his hand off the United States and the globe, and look what we got today. Okay, so now I say the date, January 22nd, 1973. Why do I say that date? Very specifically because the date, if you run the Jubilee cycle, Leviticus, thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of its inhabitants. Okay, so if you run 50 years from January 22nd, 1973, you get January 22nd, 1974. I mean, January 22nd. So January 22nd, 1973, you add 50 years, you get January 22nd, 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, which was just last January.
Yes.
And then this January 22nd, 2024, we are now in the 51st year.
Yes.
Okay, are you with me, Donnie?
Yes, I am.
So right now we're in the 51st year since Roe v. Wade. So when did the Jubilee end for Roe v. Wade?
Last year.
But when? No. Well, it would be. What's the very last day that you could stretch it to? If it ends on January 22nd, what's the day before?
21st.
Right. So the January 21st. You're gonna love this, Donnie.
Okay.
January 21st ended the Jubilee for Roe v. Wade, the 50 years, because on January 22nd, it was officially the 51st year.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I'm going through this slowly because I want all the viewers to watch how amazing our God is, which means that you just said it, Donnie, January 21st, 2024, just this past year.
Yes.
Was the last day of the 50th year, because January 22nd, 2024 started what? 51st year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we are going to go to your father's word, and I'm going to show you what God revealed to me with reference to what your father said, with reference to a specific date. So let's play this here, and I'm going to put this up on the screen here. And here we go. So let me just share this. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, watch this here.
January 10th, 2010.
I stood and said, where is the Lord? Some of you have said, where is the God of Elijah? Some of you have cried, where is the God of Elijah? I'm aligning you right now. I'm aligning you right now.
Okay.
Okay. I took the wrong video, but I wanted, there's a long video. I'm going to play that 1 second here, but what did he say there? Look for the sign.
Yes.
And what's the sign, Donnie? What was the sign?
What was the sign?
Resurrection.
Oh, of course, yes. Resurrection.
What did you just write down on your piece of paper? When is resurrection?
March 31st.
Okay, so now let's watch this video here.
Yeah, it is next Sunday. And you guys saw alphabets there. I'm going to have alphabets on here next Sunday.
Okay, here we go.
I saw a python.
Yeah.
And God said, between the 70 and 100 days, it shall begin, the strangulation and the destruction of this will begin. And it is going crazy. It is manifesting throughout America because it is dying. Now, you may not understand spiritual warfare and Diablo and Satan and demons and darkness, but it waits for an attraction. It waits for an invitation. And as I've said, there's been great division. But also it was spoken of that beginning January 21st, there would be a period in between 70 and 100 days, the spirit of Pythos will be destroyed if the people act accordingly. This spirit is doing its utmost to destroy as many states as possible, make its mark. It'll be leaving, and we'll show that to you today. I wore this purposefully. It's the gold, and I'll explain that in a few minutes because he spoke to me about watching the gold as a sign.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
Wow.
so what date did you just write down? January
21st, and there he said it right there.
There
And
is
the
your
two clocks.
revelation.
Oh my goodness, Bo, you've done it again. I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm going to go back and watch all these. I'm going to be thinking about this for weeks.
So the Lord wanted the world to know what your father was saying when he said
Yes.
January
Yes.
21. Because when does God show up? At the last minute, the last second. Therefore, the last day was January 21, 2024, the last day of the Jubilee, because we overturned Roe v. Wade. If God is with us, who can be against us? Okay, so that's the first part of this.
Okay.
But oh, it gets better.
Yay! I love this.
It gets better because I want to add more to this.
Okay.
Now, what did he say? He said between 70 and 100 days, the spirit of Pythos will come to an end. Is that not what he said?
Yes.
Do you want? So let's look at the math here. So from January 21, 2024, 70 days is March 31, 2024, next Saturday, resurrection.
Yes. So that's March 31st. And we're going to have the alphabets who you had on the screen are going to be here next.
So what your father is saying is that starting on resurrection, the spirit of Pythos is going to get stopped. So in other words, everything begins on Sunday the 31st, because he said the spirit of Pythos, his words were the spirit of Pythos will be destroyed between 70 and 100 days. So 70 days from this January, which ended 70 days from this January that ended the 50-year Jubilee to the exact day is next Sunday, resurrection. And what did your father say? Look for the sign, resurrection, resurrection. I just put 3 prophecies together for you that God revealed to me.
I'm speechless. Like, that never happens to you.
Yeah, for real.
My brain is just, wow. Oh, my goodness. And you know what's so prophetic about this? I keep saying the alphabets because I'm interviewing the alphabets next Sunday on the 31st. And as you're talking about it, there they are on the side of the screen with the video in your presentation.
Yeah, because that was when I was speaking with them, they were the ones that showed me the 70 and 90-day clock. And this was just last week. And while they're doing it, I'm doing the calculations going, oh my goodness, this is actually on the 31st, which is resurrection. So I'm like, whoa. And then that's why we're supposed to do this interview today, because we wanted to put all the pieces together for you. So a week before resurrection, you have the understanding of what your father was saying. So what your father was saying was, in 1973, Roe v. Wade became law. Yes. Because Roe v. Wade became law, we as a nation turned away from God. By turning away from God, we ended up having all the evil that is upon the world right now that we're literally witnessing happen right now, all this evil. But because we overturned Roe v. Wade, God is now with us. 2 Chronicles, if God is with us, who can stand against us? If God is with us, who can stand against us? 2 Chronicles, if my children who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then turn from their wicked ways. We overturned Roe v. Wade. Okay, yes. So we overturned Roe v. Wade on precisely January, in 2020, last year, in 2022. But the point was, Roe v. Wade came to an end, and that is on January 21, the last day of the 50th year was exactly January 21, 2024, and then the 22nd began the 51st year. And so your father's prophetic word is on January 21, 70 days forward, you will see the destruction of the spirit of Pythos. And then the second prophetic word that he was singing the song, he says, look for the sign, resurrection, resurrection. So in both prophecies, he was talking specifically about March 31, 2024. Which and then 7 days later, Donna, is the eclipse.
No, it's true. Because we're waiting for the eclipse. 7 days later is the eclipse.
And then from the eclipse, this eclipse is going to go over 7 cities called Nineveh. This is there's so much more. We're just warming up. That what God showed me. This is only a warm up. Okay, so there's going to cross 7 cities called Nineveh. Last time around, it crossed 7 cities called Salem. It's going to cross it 7 to 8 days from resurrection, and it's going to cross it on the 8th of April 2024, and then exactly 7 months to the exact day. Exactly 7 months to the exact day is the election. And on that exact day, Mr. Clark will turn 44 years old to mark the destruction of Babylon. Why? Because when Mr. Clark turns 44 years old, Israel had 44 kings and then it fell. There were no more kings in Israel. Israel fell as a nation on the 44th, and then on the 44th king, the 45th came in as president of the United States. Donald Trump and Clay Clark are on the same prophecy because why? Because the 44th, it marks the 44th king, the destruction of Babylon and the birth of God's full-on kingdom in 7 months to the exact day from the eclipse. How's that for a warm-up?
Oh my God.
Bo, I can't stay in my seat. And he wore the gold.
That's right. And what did he say? Okay, so now we're going to get into now let's get into prophecy, because why? What happens now? Let's get back into the eclipse, and this is where it really starts. And this is just more layers, because Revelation is layers upon layers upon layers. Okay, so what we're seeing is from the actual eclipse, what God revealed to me is, per the Hebrew calendar, you start counting day 1 on April 9th. Yes. So April 9th would be the first day of the year.
That's my husband's birthday, Bo.
What's that?
It's my husband John's birthday, April 9th.
Are you kidding me? April 9th? He's
turned 45.
Okay, so there you go. So he's tied in with prophecy as well too. So he's going to fall. So you need to read Exodus with regards to your husband right here, and because this ties in with your husband. So on Exodus 20:12-2. is the first day of the new year. Okay, so first day of the eclipse is on the 8th. The first day of the new year is Exodus 12:2. You start that as the first day of the year. Okay, and then you count 10 days, and that's Exodus 12:3. On the 10th day, 10th of Nisan, what you're supposed to do is select your lamb. And on the third day, you slaughter your lamb and you paint your doorposts. Well, if you know the work that I do, it's 421-124. Well, it happens to be on April 21 in the year 2024. 4211. This is only one time in history. In hundreds of years, this will ever happen. 421-124. On that date, that is Nisan 13, stepping into 14 is Passover. So from your husband's birthday as day 1 of the year, Nisan 14 is Passover.
Okay.
Nisan 14 is Passover, leads us into Nisan 15, which we're talking, that is one of the holiest days of the year, Nisan 15. On that day, there are so many things that happen on Nisan 15 biblically. If I can find my sheet, here it is. So Nisan 15, the day after Passover, is the day that Jesus is crucified. Isaac tricks Jacob. You've got the Gideon 300 assembled. You got the angel of death kills 185 Assyrian soldiers. Haman came to the king to convince him to wipe out all the Jewish nation. You've got David's thrown in a lion's den, and Belshazzar drinks from the golden chalice. And that night, his kingdom comes to an end, and he is killed. Wow. So what we're seeing right now is a critical time point right in the month of April, 14th and the 15th Nisan. Now, I missed one point that I wanted to show you as well, too. I'm going to backtrack here for just a second. On this date, this is mind-blowing, but on resurrection, back to resurrection, April 31st, 2024. April 31st, 2024. Remember we said Mr. Clark and Mr. Donald Trump, okay, on that day, on resurrection, from the birth of Donald Trump, on Resurrection Day, no coincidences, this is by design, Donald Trump will be 77 years, 7 months, and 77 days old.
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. And wasn't there a thing about when he was inaugurated and he was 70?
So sevens are all over. So he would proclaim Israel a state 7 years, 700 days from the day he was born. His first day in office was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days. This just goes on and on. Mm-hmm. And on the day your father said, I got to say this. I forgot to say this because there's so many pieces here. On the day your father said January 21 of 2024.
Yes.
He's referring to, on that day, Donald Trump was 77 years, 7 months, and 7 days old.
My goodness.
And then 70 days later is resurrection. So 77 years, 7 months, and 77 days.
That really
from January 21. But all of this is just a coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences at all, but it does it really shows how much God is incredible. He put together this world with every tiny little minuscule detail. Wow.
Right, and so what I'm layering in is all the numerics that basically scream God is in control of all this, okay?
Yes.
And so what I'm showing is that now these eclipse we're looking at, right, so it is specifically, in terms of from when it's in 2017 to now, it's exactly, mathematically, it's 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days apart.
Oh.
Okay, so this is it's just, again, these are just markers in time that we're witnessing happen right here, right now. Now, the marker in time that correlates with all of this is from when Trump got elected. So where do we even go next? So when Trump gets elected, here's the calculations for it. So he got elected 1,260 days later. It's a Daniel cycle of time. It will be for time times and a half a time. That takes us to April 20th, 2020. And then 40 days later, I'm going to this now because we want to talk about the eclipse. 40 days later, the George Floyd riots break out, pieces taken from the earth, and then the next day you have rioting in Paris, rioting globally, okay? So 40 days after oil went to zero, because oil going to negative $38 a barrel is not a coincidence. God told me it was a marker, okay? So basically they would pay you $38 a barrel to take a barrel of oil. It doesn't make any sense. So it's a marker in time, and it was 1,260 days when day Trump got elected. And so 40 days forward, George Floyd riots break out on Pentecost. Now, let's make a note of that. 40 days later, George Floyd riots from oil going to zero breaks out on Pentecost, okay? So now, let's go back to the eclipse. This is the sign of what it's going over 7 cities called Nineveh. If it goes over 7 cities called Nineveh, this is the sign of Jonah.
Yes.
And what did Jonah 3:4 say? Actually, I got this part I got from Janie Seguin. She's a prophetess out of Canada, but she told me that God told her Jonah 3:4.
Okay.
So Jonah 3:4, it says in 40 days, God's going to bring judgment upon Nineveh if they don't repent. But what did we as a nation do? We turned from our wicked ways.
Yes.
So we repented. We turned from wicked ways. So is God going to bring judgment in 40 days? Oh yeah, he's going to bring judgment, but not on his church.
No.
Oh no, he's not. See, so now let's count. Okay, so 40 days from the sign of Nineveh is May 18th. Now the interesting part is May 18th, the evening of into the next day, the 19th, is Pentecost. Remember the sign I told you?
Yes.
40 days from oil going to zero landed on, in 2020, Pentecost, and all hell broke loose on the earth. This time around, it will be the exact opposite. And so your father's words were very specific. You know, where is the Lord? Where is the God of Elijah? Right? Why is it taking so long? Because it's supposed to. It was God wrote the end from the beginning, and all of it is in God's perfect timing. So we're watching God's perfect timing unfold right in front of us. Your father spoke of it. He never gave us the year because it was a secret until the time for the reveal to be revealed. God revealed the truth. Through your father's spoken word. The spoken word was January 21. No one ever knew the year until we figured it out that it was related directly to Roe v. Wade.
And it makes sense because of all of the things that happened in 1973 as well.
Yeah.
That year was the year my dad got saved.
Yeah.
Became a Christian.
And your father, the prophet lives the prophecy. So your father is going to, all these things that happen to your father, he's living prophecy of things that are happening upon the world. So all these things that are happening within the world, your father's experiencing it all.
And that is the truth. And we knew that even when he was alive, we understood that oftentimes he would be prophesying things, and then there would be some kind of a manifestation of it in his own life that would be reflective. It's very, people who didn't know him well wouldn't have known that, but we did understand that, which is so interesting. My goodness gracious, Bo. Oh my God. You have given me so much to think about and pray.
Oh, there's more yet.
As usual. But I knew this would happen.
Isn't it amazing how God works? And then he's revealing all of these pieces. And so now we're seeing it all come together. So, and it's incredible that your father was literally speaking about a moment in time that 7 days after his time point would be the 70 mark, would be the eclipse, and 100 day. Okay. So, because it gets even more exciting when your father said between 70 and 100 days. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when's the 100th day? Well, it's pretty simple to calculate. The 100th day is the last day of Passover. The 100th day is April 30th. Passover ends. So your father said between 70 and 100 days. So 70 days is resurrection. The 100th day is the last day of Passover.
I see.
So all of this is in God's perfect timing. Now, there's another layer to all of this, which really, I call it like putting the cherry on top of our conversation, right? And the reason I'm saying that is, now, when you go back and you read scriptures on Exodus, and you do the calculations on Exodus, the link is right here. I've done all the calculations. Other people have done it as well too. If you read Exodus, it states that. So we've talked about what happened at Passover. So we know the angel of death shows up, and the next day, Israel's freed from 400 years of captivity.
Right.
Okay. Well, the Mayflower landed 400 years ago. You see the correlations. Yeah. Okay. So now, so we're to be freed from Python or Pythos.
Yes.
Who's secretly ensnaring us, captively holding everybody, holding humanity. The spirit of Pythos is a spirit that was holding Israel during the time of Pharaoh. Okay. And so the spirit of Pythos is destroyed as from the 70th to the 100th day, specifically, a very powerful time point is going to be Passover, because the angel of death shows up, destroys the firstborn of Egypt. But this is the important part, and all of it's important. But then that morning, Israel leaves and plunders Egypt. There's your wealth transfer, okay? So your father spoke of between 70 and 90 days, you'll see the wealth transfer, okay? So the wealth transfer is going to occur between the 70th day, which is resurrection, and the last day of Passover. So the wealth transfer 100% will appear based on your father's prophetic word between the 70th and the 100th day. And coincidentally, you've got Passover right in the middle of that. What a coincidence, because there aren't any, right? And so Israel plunders Egypt, takes all the gold and silver. They leave Egypt, and they go to the Red Sea. Now it takes them 16 days to get to the Red Sea. They camp there for 8 days. That's 24 days. And they leave 24 nights, and they depart on the 25th day.
Okay.
So this is in scripture. I'm not making this up. This is scriptural. Okay. Absolutely. So what I'm showing you is a second witness. I call it a cherry on top, but it's a second witness to what your father has revealed. Okay. And to the calculations. So the second witness would be if you count on the 25th day from Passover. So Passover, the 25th day is... The 25th day is, and back to wrong slide here. The 25th day is specifically, here it is. 20 is the same exact day, May 18th.
May 18th.
So from the Jonah sign, 40 days is May 18th into the 19th.
I see.
Okay.
Yes.
From Exodus, it's 25 days from Passover, which is May 18th into 19th.
Yes.
No matter how you do the math, you are at what? May 18th, 19th, which is what? Pentecost.
It is.
And what is Pentecost? This is, and the sign of Jonas is God's going to bring judgment. Okay, but again, the prophetic word that I got, and this is just from the other day, Jamie gave me this word here. It says, America is saved from judgment for overturning Roe v. Wade.
Wow.
But the evil ones who planted evil seeds will not be saved, because God's going to strike them. And this is all the angel of death. So the present day pharaohs are going to be destroyed by a Red Sea miracle. So the calculations are screaming Pentecost.
Yes.
May 18th through the 19th for the Red Sea miracle. Now it gets a little better yet. There's two more things I want to show, because the Mayflower landed November 1620. 4 years is November 2020, the elections. If you read Daniel, it'll be for times and a half a time.
Yes.
So 3.5 years is from the election is May 2024.
It is.
Yes. Now, this is the last piece I want to give, which is incredible.
Tower of Babel.
When you look at the Tower of Babel, right before they won everything, and they put the capstone on, and Satan won his whole thing.
Yes.
Right before everything was destroyed and Satan won, God showed up. Do you know when God showed up to destroy the Tower of Babel? Pentecost.
Again. Now, that is very interesting. Pentecost, tongues of fire.
You get it? He twisted everybody's tongues at Pentecost.
Yes.
At Pentecost, the Holy Spirit came upon the apostles and they spoke in tongues.
Yes. And it was a baptism by fire.
Yes.
And this is after the flood. Babel was after the flood. So you had the water with the flood. Oh my goodness gracious. You've got my brain going now. Your father's wheels are going that never work and move. They're like, hang on, what are you doing to me?
So I just really hope, I just hope you're between you and your mother. I really hope you listen and go back and listen to this and listen to the power and the magnitude of what the revelation now is. And so now this steps us into the prophecy of the seasons. Okay. And so what I lined up here as we spoke was clearly illustrating what must happen. And your father gave us the time window from January 21 to the 31st of March was the 70 days. Pythos will be destroyed by the end of Passover with a great wealth transfer between the 31st of March and the 30th of April. Wealth transfer begins. He goes, watch the gold. Well, what's gold? Gold is the wealth transfer. Silver and gold will explode in price because why? The financial system, the US dollar system, the BRICS will fulfill the prophecy of what your dad said. The brothers of Goliath stand in glee. Yes. We will cripple you. Okay. And then your father actually, if you want even more on this, your father had a prophetic word specifically about 7 years. Mm-hmm. You have been deceived, America, for 7 years. Okay. So if you go from specifically from, let me just play this prophecy for you because I put this together for you as well too. So maybe for you and your viewers, and this kind of brings a little kind of, a little fun into the end of the presentation, because I want people to know, all of this is very hopeful because your father literally explained all of these things, but we need to, like a puzzle, put it together.
Yes.
And so I hope the presentation explained the puzzle
so well. And
then the prophecy of the seasons are going to now begin. Why? Because we're about to step into 7 years of blessing. Because you have been besieged, America, by haters of America for 7 years, but I will take you out of your besiegement for 7 years. So let's listen to this prophecy that your father actually gave, because again, I don't want to be misquoting him. So let's listen precisely to his words of what he was saying, and let's enjoy this right here. So here we go.
The giants that have come, the brothers of Goliath, stand in glee watching America. We will cripple you. You will lose your credit. And people will become very afraid. I have said I will bring this nation to its knees. And God said, you have been humbled. And then you shall hear the sounds of great victory.
Okay, so let's do some math. 2016, from Obama and transgenders in the military, add 7 years, 2023. Timeline started in 2016, 7 years, 2023. What did Kim Clement prophecy say? You're going to bring your enemies to the floor. A massive, massive shaking is about to happen. This is going to be the greatest time point in human history. So now that I've explained all that, let's listen closely to this prophecy and you'll understand what Kim was saying in reference to time.
For many that have cried out and said, God will destroy this nation. The Spirit says, may I remind you, the covenant that I made with this nation is immutable, is unchangeable. That I created and spoke over this nation to feed the world, to heal the earth. God says, yes, judgment will come, but it shall not come at this time in the fashion that they have spoken. They have said, there shall be a crash and America shall be crippled. God said, not at this time, not at this time, for I have raised you up for a season. And there shall be 7 years where I will take you out of your besiegement. You have been besieged for 7 years, America. You have been surrounded by your internal enemies. Haters of America have stood up. And I will take the wealth of the wicked and for a season transfer it into the hands of the righteous. And
all these people actually believe they're going to get away with it. Because why? They've all been tricked or deceived by who? The great deceiver. God's undefeated. God's letting them walk in and they're walking into the greatest trap in human history.
I will bring an amount of restoration to this nation, and they shall be taken out of their siege that you've been in for 7 years. And then the songs will come from all over this nation, from young people who deserve to sing my song.
Wow, that was so great. That was awesome. Oh, I love seeing my dad too. That helps.
Your father was such a blessing to the world, and no one actually understood truly the degree of how incredible a prophet he was. God, put his mantle all over. It's an incredible journey. I'm sure you went through with your father and your mother. Just what a blessing. And it's been just, it's such a joy to listen to these prophecies, because what it brings is a massive hope. If you look what's going on in the world, there's no hope in the world, because Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So when you look and you watch all the things going on in the world, like right now, 322 hit the Skull and Bones number. You got wars breaking out, everything. All of this, and March is the god of war. So you're seeing all these things happening in the world, and if you're going to watch all this, if it's killing, stealing, or destroying, it's of Satan. Whereas Christ comes to bring us life more abundantly. And so when you listen to your father's words, it's the voice of God. Yeah. And the voice of God is love. And not only is it love, it's hope, is love, And so all of these things God is using for his purpose. And like I said, all of this is a massive setup for the greatest trap in history, with Mr. Trump, Donald, 7777.
Yeah, all those.
Literally the cheese that brings out all of these rats, and it has to be this way. So we need to pray for him. We need to anoint our doorpost. We're stepping into Passover. Know that Jesus Christ is King. This is like, we will bring this nation to its knees. Yeah. We're going to be scared. This is going to be like, if you watch, they're going to try to scare you, because that's all they really have left is to freak people out.
It really is.
And your father said they will bring this nation to its knees.
Yes, and he even made an album years ago called America on Her Knees. I mean, he saw that as being a key thing to our way out, our path out is in humility and on our knees in prayer. And that is, there's so many, you'll find there's like a message that's woven throughout all of the prophecies. And that's one of the key things that will stand out. My dad used to say that CodeBreakers, he named CodeBreakers. I named the show this because he named it this. Because when we come together like this and we look at the prophecies, he says it's like weaving together a tapestry. And there's a big picture that God wants us to come together, and he doesn't want to give it to just one person. He didn't just give it to my dad. My dad he was a very powerful, anointed prophet, but he saw only what God allowed him to see.
Yes.
He didn't see everything, because he needed us to be involved later. And this is the beauty of prophecy, because it really shows you it wasn't Kim Clement who did that. It was God who did that through him. And God can do that through all of us. Look how he just worked through you today. And it's all a prophetic thing, which is really what my dad really was all about, like trying to help people understand, that this prophetic thing is something for all of us. It's not just, there's a couple of people who prophesy. Like, we are an army of warriors, spiritual warriors. And we are a prophetic army. And in our unity, we can see the way that God has set before us, so that when we come together in his name, he is in the midst of us and guiding us. And that's what the prophetic is all about. So that is incredible. Oh, my goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Bo. I've got just notes everywhere that I'm going to be going home. And
your father called it CodeBreakers. You might as well break some codes, right? And it wasn't me breaking it. God's like, plug this number in. I'm like, are you kidding me? I start laughing. He goes, plug this number. I just hear like, plug this numbers in, right? And so we're breaking codes, right? And like I say, Revelation is a massive portrait. It's a beautiful piece of art, but it's broken into pieces like a puzzle. And so we take all these pieces and we're putting them together. So, you yourself, your father's word, alphabets, everybody get a little piece. And I listen very attentively, and I'm really good at putting pieces together, but we all have our anointing to do certain things. And when you start counting, and the math now is truly breathtaking, because now what I've kind of illustrated in this, these whatever hour we were here, for the time we were here, is a very clear illustration of how January 21 that your father spoke of was related directly to Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
The last of the 50th year. The next day, the year 51 began in 2024. So your father was specifically referencing the last day of Roe v. Wade's 50th year. Then we start counting, between 70 and 100 days. In between that, we got Passover. Then right after that, we got Pentecost. And then this then steps us into summer will be the mediator between spring and fall.
Yes.
Because after God strikes, they're finished. Okay. So that's why 2024 is going to be a year of rest, because when God strikes, starting here at, say, resurrection, but specifically as we step in, then definitely as we in Passover into Pentecost, when God strikes, they're finished. Okay. That breaks the dam open. So before, like, a truth would come out, they'd stick a finger in it because they have unlimited money. But this time around, the money system has collapsed. So the dollar will lose the status of the world reserve currency. So they can't buy and pay, they can't bribe and pay off anybody anymore. And so they've lost their mechanism of control, because Babylon was a system of control created by the dollar.
Yes.
So the dollar's about to be dethroned as the world reserve currency. It'll be attacked by the BRICS. The BRICS are not going to win, because why? They have an agenda to bring on, these are all people that do hate God, okay, generally speaking. And the BRICS are not going to win. Why? Because we made a covenant with God, and our covenant is, what did your father say? Immutable.
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 Yes.
And so the United States will be one of the greatest, there will be the greatest place to live in the world when 45 comes back and redeems his position. And we've got Clay Clark and we got Mr. Donald Trump, basically both of them, their birth dates critically pointing to what's about to go down in this world. All of it is by perfect mathematical design.
Yes.
Which
only God could have done that.
Right. Which is then overlaid with the prophetic and then the written. And somebody actually said to me the other day, actually Prophet once said, I was talking to her just the other day, she literally said, if it wasn't for like numbers, you wouldn't have the spoken word. So probably numbers came before the word.
Yes.
You think about it, right?
Yes.
So numerics came before the word. And so the numerics literally are completely entrenched and enmeshed with your father's prophecies.
Wow, so much more than I even realized, Bo. My goodness gracious, you have definitely. Listen, I have your website at the bottom of the screen right now. Is that how people find you, or are there other ways?
That's one of the websites. The main would be, you can use that, but the other main would be gold, and then 20 behind me, gold. 2020 forecast. And that's because that 2020 was the beginning of the end time of Soros, and God revealed to me everything in the world would change in the year 2020, and so it did.
Yes. Okay, there. Now that's at the bottom of the screen there. So you guys see that Gold 2020 forecast, or BoPolny.com. Let me tell you something. Get ready for your brain to be squeezed, but go over there, because your spirit and your soul will thank you.
Yeah. No, and I would say this. Please go back and watch this.
Go over it afterwards and make sure. Go through it, because it is incredible what you just showed us today. Really.
Yeah, I would just say go back and listen to this a couple of times, at least one or two more times, because I went kind of quick because I just wanted to cover the details. But please listen to this one or two more times. It's very specific what Kim Clement was speaking of, and I just give the revelation on it, which then steps us into the season's prophecy. And so you can listen to the season's prophecy after this, but the season's prophecy is going to follow the timeline I just laid out, because the timeline is the timeline of spring. And so there's greater details in all the calculations that I even stuck into a book that basically goes live next month. And the calculations literally take us years forward using the same math calculations. It's truly incredible how God is working through the numbers. But beyond all that, I was so blessed to have received this information from God yesterday and be able to share it with you today, Donna, and your mom, literally the day after I get it. I was like, whoa.
That was meant to be too. That's God's timing again.
Yeah.
And here is that prophecy that you're talking about, the season's prophecy, to anybody who's interested. If you haven't, I'm sure you've seen it. Most of the people watching have seen it. But it was from July 19th of 2014. I just pulled up this. I won't read it. But this, anybody interested, if you want to know what he prophesied, if you can't find the video, there's the transcript, and that's on the House of Destiny Network website. You go to the About Us section and into the prophecy database. I'm sure you're familiar with this database, Bo.
Yes.
And
amazing.
It's July 19th of 2014. Now, we are upgrading this too, just so everybody knows. We are upgrading the prophecy database and our partner program and redoing stuff on the website. So we're super excited about that. All right, Bo, well, we're out of time, but I thank you so much for coming. And I'm so excited and inspired. Now I'm going to go back and look at all this and watch this again and look at the dates, because wow, God is great. God is great.
It all starts at resurrection.
Resurrection, my friend.
Come on. Look for the sign. Look for the sign. What's the sign? What amazing. God is amazing, and your father is incredible how we used him. Your father was so anointed. No one knew it at the time, and now everybody's like, what was Kim saying back then? And this goes back 10 to 14 years. These prophecies is crazy, right? It's crazy. But God doesn't have time. He just speaks. So that's why we need to really pay attention to the math behind it, because you got to figure it out. Yes. And that's the revelation part of it. That's the code
breaking. I love it. My dad was so prophetic. He even knew what to name this. Well, thank you for joining us again, everybody. If you want to see more from Bo Polny, I highly recommend you go to Gold 2020 Forecast. You can follow him on social media as well. Correct, Bo? You're on. What are you
I'm
on?
only on Twitter, so don't be careful any other stuff. There's people trying to mimic me everywhere. I've got I do an account on Rumble under Gold 2020 Forecast, and then YouTube, my name, or Gold 2020 Forecast, and then Twitter. And those are the only three platforms. So don't be deceived by all these people going out and saying, hey, I'm sending you emails. I don't send anybody emails. I'm not asking you to send us anything.
Okay.
So be very careful out there of people there's all kinds of stuff going on. So,
all right, God is only on X, formerly known as Twitter, and then, of course, Rumble and his YouTube and Rumble channels. So please, I highly recommend you go and have a look at what Bo's doing. Keep up with him, because he is, as you can see, anointed for this. And I thank you so much for joining us today. We will have you back soon for an update too, Bo. And I will see you at Reawaken when is it? June? June. Yes. It's in June. Yes, Reawaken in June. All right, thank you, Bo, and everybody. This is it for us today. Wow, that was just awesome. I do love Bo. He's such a good friend. And when we see Bo at the events and things, it isn't we don't get to have these kind of conversations as much, because it's quite busy. So when we sit down with him like this in this setting, you really see what an incredible mind God has given us in Bo Polny. So thank you again, Bo, for joining us. And everybody, do I have announcements? I guess I do. Okay, so yes, tomorrow, Prophetic Rewind, we will have the last part of the visions. And this is the part where Dad prophesied about Q&A. So do be looking for that. It'll be up at the House of Destiny Network, on our app, on our website, on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. Where else? Is that it? Truth. But the broadcast will be on those. Rumble, YouTube, and on our network, on our website and the app. So look for Prophetic Rewind. That will be up tomorrow or late tonight. And then we have Real Life, Real Faith on Tuesday, Wednesday, Pastor Fa. And we have a special Easter week. Special Easter week at the House of Destiny Network. So you don't want to miss anything. So just tune in every day. Charlie Jordan on Thursdays. On Friday, which is going to be Good Friday this week. So we're very excited about that. Don't miss Israel Update, of course. And then we have our regular current events on Saturday. And I will be back this coming Sunday, or this next Sunday, the 31st, which we talked about that date quite a bit today. And how amazing that the Alpha Vets were in his clip there. And they are who are going to be with us next week. That's how amazing God is. That's how prophetic this whole setting and situation is. So he will be here, and they will be here. Alphabets will be here, and that's Chris and Israel on here with us next week. So don't miss CodeBreakers Live next week, because it's going to be another mind blow. I mean, Alphabets, they're finding videos of my dad I'd forgotten about. They're posting stuff all the time. Really, they help me out. And they're a great couple of guys. They've interviewed me before, so I'm going to have them on. And so join us here next week. It will be, of course, Resurrection Sunday, but in the afternoon. Come and join us for a little while. Have a chat with us. And what else?
Rhonda on the website. She's one of our supporters.
Rhonda.
And she was asking a question of how Matt's doing.
Matt!
Yes.
Matt's doing great. Okay, so anybody who doesn't know, Matt is my adopted brother from China. He had a genetic defect. So he's special needs. Well, technically special needs, but he's not really. I mean, Matt's doing really good. He's had to have quite a number of surgeries on his face this year, and he doesn't really want to be on camera. He's 16 years old now. Working on getting his driver's license. And, he's really protective of my mom. He's like, without dad here, he takes care of the family. He's a responsible boy. And he runs track now, too. He's really good at that. So that's how Matt's doing very well, doing so well in school. He is just the smartest, and he's funny, and he's just the best. And we do love Matt, and he's doing great. So thanks for asking about Matt. And Shelly and Mia, too. They're doing good. They're teenagers now. Mia has her learner's license. So those of you who used to watch her when she was a baby, when my parents first adopted her, she has now got a learner's license. So that's how much time has passed.
Just in case anybody wanted to feel old.
Yes, my sister's in the background saying in case you want to feel old. And then, of course, Shushu and Kimby also doing great. They go to school with my daughter. They're all in the same grade. So everybody's together. And now both of my sisters, Elizabeth and Jacqueline, they are my natural, not adopted sisters. They have now moved here to Tennessee as well. So we are all together as a family again. And it's been a few years since we've all lived together. And we're so happy to be together again. But we've just moved ourselves over to Tennessee. And so that's what's happening with that. And then also anybody who is giving to the ministry, anybody giving a donation to the House of Destiny Network, you must look around when you do that, because for a gift of any amount, you can get this for free. This is a 31-day devotional. My dad wrote every single word in here, and we put it together into a devotional, and it's called The Daily Light. You will love it. Any amount on a donation, we'll send this to you for free. But go to the website. Go to houseofdestiny.org. Let me put that up there so you can see how it looks. There you go. Take that ticker off. Also, if you wanted to give to the ministry, support what I'm doing here, support what we're doing, our missions. There's so many things we're doing at the House of Destiny Network. We have not slowed down. We are moving forward. Well, that's how you can support us, and we really could use the support. We have been censored. We have been debanked. We're doing this without my dad, but we're just going. We're just going, you guys, because you guys need to see these prophecies. We need to be talking about them. God did something really awesome through my dad, and he may not be with us anymore, but those words and those prophecies that came through him, they came from God. They are eternal, and they're here to help us today. So another thing, $25 or more, you can get this one. I love it. So let me, wait, you know what, I've got QR codes with images. Let me show you guys. So this one, $25 or more, you can use the QR code if you don't mind QR codes. And then, of course, the Daily Light devotional. Yeah, I think that's it. And you can go, this is the shop. So you can use that QR code. If you just pause the video, you can hold your camera on your phone up and it'll pull up a link. You click it and it'll take you there. And so I think that's everything I needed to remember. I do love all of you, and we will see you next Sunday, which will be Easter. How exciting. He is risen. And Alphabets will be here with me. So that will be really, really good, you guys. So I think now we're going to turn everything off. Okay, so I'm saying goodbye, and other things are going to happen on your screen. God bless you.
Started My Pillow, it was just a problem solution one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use My Pillows, $25. My Pillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium My Pillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
Of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you. And then by phone call. And then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.